Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk all things finance and investing. Today's video, I've got an absolute golden nugget for you today. The greatest trade I've ever seen in my 20 years working in the finance industry, most of those of course in the city of London. It's going to be an intro into options as well. Options are a really interesting asset class, so we'll get into it. I'm going to do a two-parter, call options today, put options next video. So I'll give you the basics of that as well as the details of the greatest trade I've seen in my 20-year career. So let's get right into it. All right, so before we get started, I just want to make it very clear that this video is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. It's purely educational stuff. So you probably have heard of options before, and an option is really just a contract, the right but not the obligation to buy a particular stock or index or whatever you've got the option on in the future at a specified price. And that price is known as the strike price. So let's go through a real simple example. Imagine a stock is trading at $100 or £100, whatever, and you thought that that stock price was going to double over the next few years. You could buy the stock itself, just buy it outright, or you could buy an option that gives you the right to buy that stock at a specified price in, say, 2 years' time. That would be known as the expiry date. Now, you might say, well, I think the stock price is going to double over the next 2 years, and I will buy an option giving me the right to buy it, say £120 or dollars. So right now, if the market is trading at 100 and I want the right to buy it at 120, well, of course, 120 is a worse price than 100. So therefore, this option would actually be considered out of the money, okay? But therefore, I would buy that option. If I was happy to do that, I would pay a price for that option, which is known as the premium. And therefore, I would hold the option and it gives me the right to buy the stock at 120 anytime between now when I buy the option and the expiry date, say in 2 years' time. Now I've got the option and the right to buy this, and I can exercise that option anytime. If the stock started to trade up, of course, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, whatever, then the value of that option is going to go up as well because I've got the right to buy it at 120. So if the market is now trading at 150 in that stock, well, there's value in that. There's $30 of value in that, in fact, because I've got the right to buy it at 120 and the market price is 150. So there's $30 of value. That $30 of value is known as the intrinsic value, and that's part of what makes up the price of the option. There's also the time value that goes into the price of the option itself. If that option was due to expire in a week rather than in 2 years' time, then of course there's less time for that price movement to happen. So there would be less time value in that option. There's a third element that makes up the price of an option as well, and that's the implied volatility. Going back to our example, if a stock's trading at 100, I have the right to buy at 120, and I've gone 2 years out. Well, we have to think as well about the volatility. Is this a stock that tends to double once a year and then cut in half another year? And if so, we need to factor that in, because if I'm buying an option to buy at 120, the stock's trading at 100, that stock could easily be 200 in maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And therefore, that volatility would have to be priced into the option as well, because it's therefore more likely that it could happen. So those are the three parts that make up the price of a stock option. So far, I'm only talking about call options as well, the right to buy a stock at a particular price at a particular time in the future. Put options are the opposite, but we'll tackle those in the next video. Now, of course, what would the seller of an option get out of this? Because if you're a buyer, we know what you could get out of this. You can make money by having the right to buy something at a price that's lower than the market and in the money option. Of course, the seller would receive that premium that you're paying, which is basically the price and the amount of money that you need to put up to buy this particular options contract. And the seller, probably somebody who actually holds that stock in their portfolio, they think that that event is not going to happen, and they want to collect the income through the premium for themselves. But of course, they therefore have potentially the obligation to deliver the stock to you if you choose to exercise it because it's in the money and you wish to exercise your right to buy that stock at 120 when maybe it's trading at 150, 200 or even more. A couple other things to note. If it's a US option or US stock option, one contract or one option gives you the right to buy 100 shares of that particular stock in question. The expiry dates tend to happen on the third Friday of every month. And I've gone through an example of what an in-the-money option is, but I'll explain as well what an out-of-the-money option is. Let's go back to our original example. Imagine the market is trading at 100 and I've got an option to buy a stock again at 120. That's actually out of the money. Why would anybody choose to exercise that when it's $20 out of the money? I can buy the stock in the market for 100. Therefore, I would never exercise my option, my right to buy at 120 because I'd be buying it $20 worse off. That is an out of the money option. If I had an option to buy a stock at 100 and the stock is trading at 100, then therefore it's known as being at the money. So there's three types of descriptions really when it comes to options. In the money, the right to buy at a lower price than the strike when it's a call option. At the money when it's at the same price, so the market price and the strike price are at the same, and then out of the money, the option, where the strike price is actually higher than where the current market is trading, again for a call option. So when do investors tend to use options or call options in this example? Well, they tend to be used typically more for speculation. They're not really used to hedge as much when it comes to call options. And of course, these can be treated as very, very speculative products because there's expiries pretty much every Friday. So you can get people going really short dated options like buying on a Monday or Tuesday with an expiration for a Friday. This is super high risk and probably not a strategy I would suggest. But keep in mind that options are very, very speculative. This is not really something you would do as part of a long-term investment strategy. This would just be pure speculation really on your part if you saw an opportunity that you really wanted to jump on top of. One of the main advantages of using an option when you think you've got a good idea or a good investment or trade that you want to do is, unlike say contract for differences or other types of margin and leverage trading, you don't get stopped out. The worst thing that could happen is you lose the premium because the value of the option on expiry can only go to zero. So imagine you go and you buy an option with the right to buy at 120, and when it comes to expiry date, the stock is actually trading at 100. There's zero value in that option at the time of expiry. So you would lose your premium, but nothing else. If you bought the stock using leveraged or margin, for example, and the stock sold off, you could be forced through a margin call or be automatically stopped out, and your deposit on the trade would be lost. But with options, that doesn't happen. But there is a downside. You might have an option to buy something at say 120, and the market actually finishes at 120 in 2 years' time. And unfortunately, in this case, you would still lose your premium because the value of the option at expiry would be zero. So even though the stock price didn't actually go down and it finished up where you had your strike price, your premium in that case would be lost. But you would never lose any more than that. Buying options is a limited risk trade. You cannot lose more than your premium. Selling options is more of a margin trade and your risks therefore are unlimited. So not something I would suggest you would do for sure. Buying option, limited risk. All right, so let's take a quick look at an options chain so you can get a bit more of an idea how all of this stuff looks. Okay, so I've just gone to investing.com. They are a really good website for prices, information, and all sorts of things markets related. And I've brought up a Tesla option chain. Why? Because it's one of the more popular ones that people like to trade options on. I've just gone to the option page here on Tesla, and this is what's known as an option chain. So I've put in the expiration date. I've gone out to 2 years. You can do options for a lot less than 2 years, but I've gone out to 2 years here on this call options, and I've gone with an out of the money strike. And as you can see here, well, Tesla's trading around 456 at the time of this video. All of these strike prices are out of the money because they're higher than the current market price is. And here we have, well, the symbol for the option itself, The last trade being the last traded price, and then the bid and the ask. The price is if I was buying or selling, and the volume and the open interest, the amount that is currently available for these options. Okay, and as you can see here, as the strike prices go up, the option price actually goes down because these are more and more out of the money. There's less intrinsic value in these particular options. But this is how it works and how you can see options in reality. And of course, you just trade them like you normally do a stock or anything else with your brokerage account if they offer options trading. Okay, so that's the fundamentals of call options on stocks. Now I want to get into the greatest trade I've ever seen and how options were used to do this. Okay, so the example is going all the way back to 2020, and I know somebody who took around £100,000 that they had laying around, and they truly believed in the Tesla story at that time, and they believed that that stock was going to multiply a couple of times over. They originally bought shares in it thinking that was the best way to do it, but their conviction was so strong that he decided to sell the shares and go into call options on Tesla. So the trade went as follows. The pandemic struck, market sold off, and he decided at this point to buy 2-year out of the money call options on Tesla. Why? Because they're so much cheaper when you're going out of the money. Now, he thought Tesla was going to double or triple through 2020, through 2021, and out to 2022. But of course, Tesla did much more than double or triple at that time. So he bought out of the money call options, and we're talking maybe around 30, 40, 50% out of the money. So what I mean by that is, if the stock was trading at 100, he would go and buy 150 strike price call option on Tesla. That's quite a bit out of the money. If you think about it, Tesla would need it to have gone up by 50% just to hit a strike price. Then you need to add on your premium that you paid as well to get your break even. And in a call option, the break even is the strike price plus the premium that you're paying. But it went in his favor big time. If we take a look at Tesla's chart around 2020, you can just see how great this trade actually went for him. So look at my screen right here. Look at 2020, and in and around the time of the COVID pandemic and everything, you had Tesla trading around $32, which is the post-split price, of course, right? And he would have been buying call options here at around $45, $50, so quite a bit out of the money. And again, the reason for that is they're very cheap. But look at what the market did through 2020 on Tesla as we went. It went like an absolute rocket ship. And by the time the end of the year came, it was trading up around 230, so many multiples more, okay? And of course, the value of his account at that time, when it was 100,000 in and around the beginning of the year of 2020, the value of his account was around $7 million. So an incredible, phenomenal return. And the best part about this is he didn't sell it. He let the option run. A lot of people would have taken their profits at this time, but he decided to let it go right through to expiry. Now, he gave some of that back. As you can see, in 2021, in January, it was up to 275 and it came back down. But by the time came to expiry, in and around 2022, March, April 2022, Tesla was in around $300 or a little bit less. So he made obscene profits on this because he held it right through to expiry. And in his words as well, he got very lucky. Tesla moved up many more times than he thought was going to happen. So that is the greatest trade that I've ever seen. But it doesn't have to be just Tesla and a stock moving 10 times. There's another example where I've seen people could have done very well at this. And it's something to think about if the market were to sell off and your favorite stock were to go down by an awful lot and you had conviction it was going to come back in 2 years. Let's take another look at another chart here. So on my screen here, I've now got Meta. And if we look back at Meta in and around, 2022, late 2022, look at that stock price. It had been absolutely hammered. Now, what if you were a big believer in Meta and you thought it was going to go up over the next few years? You could buy the stock if you wanted to. You could buy the stock on margin if you wanted to. Very risky. But the problem with that is if it sells off a bit more, you could get stopped out of the trade. But if you buy a 2-year option, even one that's out of the money, so you pick it up a bit cheaper in price. So let's say here in and around September, October, when Meta was trading around $130 or so, you decided to buy a $200 option going 2 years out. Okay, so as 2023 went, you're now in the money in May 2023, and this still goes through 2024. If you held on to that option through 2024 now, where Meta's trading in and around $500 or so at the time of expiration, you would have made an absolute boatload of money. Now, of course, the stock has to come back quite a lot, like those two examples did. Netflix is another example, by the way. In 2022, it sold off really hard. If you thought it was going to come back and you bought a 2-year option, you would have seen similar results. So that is the power of options. So something to consider maybe if you have a bit of a conviction in a particular stock, but do not risk everything on this. The worst thing that you could do is get into gambling, speculating on the short-dated options, and you'll probably find that you just end up losing money. You're probably better off having a 2-year time horizon or so when you do this stuff, and only risk a small amount of money. But you can start small and get a feel for it, do your learning from there, and just decide whether it's right for you. All right, that's part 1 of my video series on options, call options, the power of these things, and the greatest trade I've ever seen. I hope you liked the video. If so, hit the like button. Let's share that video. Let's get it out to more people so they can see the power of options as well. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. We got more great videos like this. I'll be doing put options as well at some point next week, hopefully. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about options, option trading, the trade I just mentioned, which is a real trade, a phenomenal, life-changing amount of money for this individual. He wasn't even in finance. So thank you for watching a video on call option. As always, I wish you nothing but the best in your savings and investment journey.